a needle. For my foot, I don't feel a thing. I can even spin. Now I can get ready for my new life. My mother left my father Cyril, her husband, when she was 5 months pregnant with me in 1929. They fought like oil and water. Mama wanted to be a performing artist and really didn't want any children. My mother lived with her lover, Geneva Williams, Neva, who my sister Viv and I had to call Auntie Mama. I don't know much about my dad except that I had his mannerisms, strong forehead and large, deep-set eyes. I did get to meet him when I was 16 and he tried to play catch-up with me. And then later in my career, we talked and he was a nice man. Short, but nice. Okay, these are the dresses I'm not taking. These I'm going to take. And these, I've got to organize them. Oh, goodness. Now, that lady, Auntie Mama, she hated us and would beat Viv and me every day. She even sexually abused me. But still, I kept performing and helping everybody. Dorothy, get this. Dorothy, get that. Dorothy, get this. Dorothy, come here. Dorothy, go here. It was terrible for me. But the stage was my escape. On stage, I had power and confidence. My spirit came alive. I loved to sing, act, and dance, and was great at it. I was free, singing and dancing, something I love. Sprinkles from heaven, mixed in my blood. Oh, I can sing. Oh, I can dance. I just move my feet just like a fire on the wind. Love to sing the song, and I just begun. I just blow and blossom when I'm dancing, having fun. I fly gossamer wings. My body becomes like a drum. My troubles behind me don't matter, as long as I'm on stage with a dance and a song. Oh, I know it's fun, and my mind is free. Watch me sing and watch me dance, and you will smile with me. Oh, I love my song, love to move around. No more scaredy cat, no more this and that. Singing, dancing, I feel free. I feel free. Yes. Now, one afternoon, Mama came home from her regular day job. She worked with the Social Security people there, those folk. And she said, I'm tired. I don't think I want to go to my job today. I said, Mommy, I can do it. I had all of her moves and inflections and vocal tones. She was shocked. So seeing a money-making opportunity, so take it away. Mom and Auntie Mama formed the Wanda Kids in 1928, adding Viv and me to the act. We traveled and performed all over. We had hundreds of people following our shows. Now, even back then, as a young girl, men were approaching me. Oh, it was horrible. They balked at me as if they wanted to strip me. I hated it. But the stage was my escape. I was free, I felt safe and secure. I was free from Auntie Mama, and I stopped feeling like a little lovely bird who didn't know where to land. Always seeking approval from others, from my mother, my Auntie Mama, my sister Vivian, and then later in life, my husbands and friends, and always seeming to find self-worth unattainable when not performing. But when performing, I was free and my soul came alive. I stopped feeling like a little fawn, all alone in the woods, wide-eyed and wondering. Maybe I was always seeking the love I never had with my mother and father. And then later in life, just when things were going great and my soul was happy, something would go wrong. I just wanted someone who would love me too. If you do, then I'd be so good to you. All I ask is for your hand, for you to be my man. My love, it has no end. When you smile, I get all giggly inside. When you laugh, oh, I just smile until I cry. If you come to me, my love, I swear by stars above, I'll never break your heart or make you. I'll never break your heart. Let's finish what we started. I'll never break your heart. Don't make me cry. Me cry. In 1928, we left to go to Los Angeles, all four of us. Getting work in Los Angeles was hard for me and Vivian. Oh, they told us that we were too light. Especially me. But I did get some parts in the talkies like Easy Street, Yes Indeed, and Paper Doll, which were among the 14 that I did during my time there. Then Viv and me, along with our neighbor Etta Jones, we formed the Dandridge sisters. Now I'm a steady performer at maybe 6 years old. But we joined the 5 rhythmics and we traveled all over to the outlying cities like Bakersville, Victorville, Santa Ana, Santa Barbara. We made our movie debut in the big broadcast of 1936 with Bill Bojangles Robinson, Bing Crosby, Frankie Darrow, Jackie Oakey, Wendy Baines, and the Benny here dancers at Paramount Studios. Then Harold started to court me. And we went to Europe. Oh, I loved it there. That's where I felt that freedom again. Oh, in Europe, oh, I love this one. In Europe, they treated us like people and not a color or a race. I felt valued and free. Now, you know I'm mixed. My father was Mexican English, and my mother, Ruby Dandridge, was black. But I never denied my blackness and was always very proud of my race, even writing letters about the racial inequality in this country. And I even got to introduce Martin Luther King Jr. to one of his public speaking rallies, at the one that he himself said was the largest and most enthusiastic rally he'd seen. Over 50,000 people right here in Los Angeles, Wrigley Field in 1963. Oh, but I did enjoy being in Europe, where I felt valued. After meeting Harold Nicholas in New York, you know, he was a dancer, and the attraction between us was immediate. Just so you know, both Fayard and Harold were interested in me. But Harold won. He got the prize. I performed at the Cotton Club with Cab Calloway, Sister Rosetta Tharpe, Jigsaw Jimmy, Martin Moreland, and the Benny Bahia Dancers, and the King Cole Trio. I performed at the Orpheus Theater with the Floyd Ray Orchestra and the Rayettes, and at the Cafe It in Los Angeles. I was in the movie The Lady from Louisiana with John Wayne, no less. Then in 1941, I was in Fox's, 20th Century Fox's, Sun Valley Serenade with the Nicholas Brothers. Oh, I was over the moon, tap dancing and singing with them in a movie. Pardon me, boys, is this the Chattanooga Choo-Choo? Oh, I was over the moon. Then Harold continued to court me. I was in 5 films in 1941. Four Shall Die, Sun Valley Serenade, The Lady from Louisiana, Sundown, and Bahama Passage, and had a lineup of singing engagements. Harold and I would end up in hot kisses and embraces, and so we got married in 1942, before it got out of hand. Auntie Mama and Mama were thrilled. Married now. Auntie Mama couldn't touch me, couldn't glare at me with those eyes of hers. I was free. But on my wedding night, I had so much trouble. But I still kept thinking how happy we would be. I wished how happy we will be, 'cause this man, he loves me, and I love him. He makes me spin and laugh out loud in glee. all I do is smile. Then he holds me tight, and ooh, it's good for a while. How happy we will be. Da 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 remembering her tying and taking my breast down and pushing me down on the bed to inspect me after I had gone out with some friends, and there was a young man there, and she was convinced that I had done something, but I didn't do anything. I did nothing. I just couldn't. Finally, Harold, frustrated, turned his back to me, and I lay sobbing quietly on our wedding night. Harold's turning away grew more, and he ventured away from our home on 27th Street between Arlington and Cimarron in an almost all-white residential area. Parties, golf games, and women became his main priority. Sometimes he wouldn't come home until very late or the next day. But he always came home eventually. To my sister-in-law, Jerry. Oh, she was smart as a whip. And unlike me, knew where to tell people where they could go if they were causing trouble for her. She was also very intelligent, so with me not finishing my schooling, she was like a walking, talking encyclopedia for me, especially about black issues. And with my fantastic memory, I soaked up information from her like a little sponge. And I also felt so much better when I talked to her about Harold and I's problems. Then in 1943, in March of 1943, I found out I was pregnant. Oh, I was so happy. We both were happy for a while, for a little time. On September 1st, I awoke in great pain, convinced the baby was coming. But Harold, he thought it was a false alarm, and he took me to Jerry's house after talking with Ruby on the phone to try to get me to quiet down and calm down. Then he left, saying he would be back later in the afternoon, but not without getting a good scolding from Jerry, who was angry that he would leave his wife knowing the baby was coming at any minute. Now, I kept thinking, he won't do that. He wouldn't leave his wife like this. He won't leave his wife. Well, my contractions kept getting worse. And Jerry and her sister Rose tried to get me to the hospital sooner, but I wanted to wait on Harold. Now, by then we had a car, but Harold's friends picked him up to play golf, and he didn't leave the car keys. But when my water bag broke, it just busted. We left to go to the hospital. And when we got there, it was another wait. Delivery of my daughter was horrible. But eventually, September 2nd, 1943, at 2:42 a.m., Harolyn was born. They had to use forceps to help her to come, and those scars served as a reminder to me. Harry arrived about an hour after she was born. But it was such a joy to finally hold my daughter in my arms for the first time. She was just beautiful. Many neighbors and friends came by, and family members to see my beautiful, beautiful daughter. She looked perfect, so beautiful. Then in 1945, I began to notice and was a bit worried about Lynn's behavior. She would scream and cry. For no reason, I tried everything. New paint, different linens, and when the Nicholas brothers were on tour, I took Harolyn to see many doctors. These visits would usually end up with me sitting in the chair, crying my eyes out. And Lynn standing there or sitting with her blank stare. Or then she would start making those those little noises she would make. Finally, in 1947, the doctor told me that my daughter, something happened during the delivery of Lynn, and my daughter would never reach beyond the mentality of a 3-year-old. Cry, 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 scream, scream, all day long. And you know, my daughter, she never spoke. Not one word. Can you imagine that? To never hear your child speak. Say the word, Mama, Dada. Well, Harold, he couldn't deal with the situation, and he threw himself into his work and other women. My sadness was really getting to me, and I flew to Europe to be with Harold. But he neglected me even more. I remember Jerry and I, we walked into the room where they were having lunch with friends, and it was almost as if we didn't exist. We were nobody. Oh, I got so depressed I tried to commit suicide. But thankfully Jerry found me and she rushed me to the hospital. Finally, I realized our marriage crumbled to nothing. I had to leave Harold. I had to leave Harold, but I had to keep telling myself, Dottie, you've got to get out. You've got to get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. I had to keep telling myself this over and over because I loved Harold. I really loved Harold. The divorce wasn't final until years later. In 1951, after I had exhausted all chances of a reconciliation with Harold. I loved him. During the separation that started from Harold in 1948, I took classes at the Actress Lab. Now, the Actress Lab was considered communist because they took in students like myself from all races. Anyone who was involved in civil rights activities was considered communist. Even I was, when I sang at an event where there were civil rights leaders present. They asked me to get up and sing, and I got up and I sang for them. But a direct and sophisticated letter from Zalznick at 20th Century Fox stomped and squashed those rumors that had spread throughout the industry. At the Actors Lab, I met Marilyn Monroe. We became close friends. We were like sisters, and we did tons of things together. We had so much fun. Now, Marilyn was a little lightheaded, but smart. She had great power in the industry. She even started her own production company, a film producing company with her photographer. But she had great power, I'm telling you. They made lots of money off her back. It was such a sad blow to me when Marilyn died. We were so close. I really missed her. I continued to work in clubs under the care of Phil Moore. I worked in the Biltmore, the Riviera, the Macumbo owned by Charles Morrison, and clubs in New York, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles. My career took an upturn when he used to have these Sunday musicals. I began to work more. I signed a contract with Earl, and I worked even more. Now, at that point in my career, I had just finished Harlem Globetrotters and Tarzan's Perils. And then later, in 1953, Bright Roads. Oh, one of my favorite films to do was Bright Roads. I just loved being around all of those beautiful, beautiful children. And, you know, they were around the same age as Harriman as well. Yes, it was wonderful for me. Yes. Continued working in clubs and working and working and working. And remained close friends with Marilyn. She spent many nights sleeping on the white rug in front of my fireplace at my Hilldale home after telling me all about her love affairs and sometimes crying to me about it. Yes. Oh, now this dress, let's see. I don't think so. This is a no. Now, oh, this one, I think I need to take this and try this on. Oh yes, it's a little snug, don't you think? So I will get this on and I will be right back. Over $8,000. I continued performing in clubs. The Macambo, the Riviera Room, Empire Room, the Biltmore, and the Waldorf Astoria in New York. I was the first black person to headline there at the Waldorf Astoria. Then I heard about Otto Preminger directing and producing the film Carmen Jones with an all-black cast, one of the first of its kind to be done in brilliant Technicolor. Getting this role was a pivotal point in my career. Now, by 1954, the industry still had not provided dramatic roles for black actresses, and I was going to change that. From my next appointment with Otto, I sashayed into his office in a sultry outfit and a short, sexy wig. Otto's Georgia rocked. I got the part. Here I go again, ready to take that vow of all the times I needed strength. I had it now. Ready to sign on the line. Been down a bit, but now I'm ready to shine. Was down in the dungeons, left all alone in the dark, but cast members in common were Pearl Bailey, who I befriended and became friends with during the set in the filming of Carmen, Harry Belafonte. Oh, Harry loved me, and I loved him always. Joe Adams, Diane Carroll, and many others. My sister Vivian was happy for me. We had a love-hate relationship, but I always looked out for her, and she looked out for me. Also in 1954, Peter Lawford married Patricia Kennedy. That meant our secret love affair was over. Oh, we really loved each other. But his family and this racist society prevented us from being married and progressing in our careers. And then, the negative opinions of my community, and I began to feel negative about the role I was portraying, the sultry, seductress Carmen Jones. And jealousy from friends, and I got so depressed and tense, I just stayed in my apartment. But one visit from Otto and encouragement from Earl convinced me to continue with the film. And Otto and I's professional relationship, it turned into love and a long relationship. He gave me everything I needed: clothes, money, and love. And even though my sister Vivian had negative comments about our relationship, I still always thought we would get married. Because he also had two taboos. He was white and already married. But he even bought me a home on Avenue Drive, a house that I loved and entertained with many distinguished guests. And with all of this, we had to keep our love a secret. Well, we tried to anyway. Blow out the candles so no one will know who's kissing me. Oh, it was a happy time for me. All of the magazines had me on their front covers. Photoplay, Paris Match. And I was the first black actress to be on the cover of Life magazine in 1954. I was being photographed by photographers, professional photographers all over the world. They just couldn't keep their eyes off me. Each time I walk their way, their eyes begin to say, there goes the girl who shows the world just how to get her way. Such a wonderful feeling. Oh, is this so appealing to have them see me now and have them take a bow, because they all adore me and can't seem to ignore me. When I walk through the town, there's a sparkle in the air. So please don't you bore me. Good things coming for me. Led to me being the first black actress to get a 3-year contract with Fox. 3 films, 1 film per year, starting $75,000 to increase to $125,000 per film. Comment also led to me being the first Black actress to be nominated for an award in a leading role. Oh, I was over the moon. Nothing was going to stop me. Then I turned down a role offered to me by Fox in The King and I at Otto's request, but I also didn't want to play the part of a slave. We were trying to get away from those roles, and I even told my publicist, Austin, I didn't want to do it. I just couldn't do it. I didn't want to play the part of a slave. No films came my way until 1957, Ironed in the Sun, a very controversial film, and made me the first Black actress to be in a film portraying a person in love with a white man. And that was the 3rd year of my contract with Fox. Well, many deals ended up in lost deals, like Sloan, Orpheus, remake of Barbara Sophia, all a part of Otto's promised work for me. Otto and I parted, but not before me getting pregnant and having an abortion. I didn't want to keep his child. He wasn't marrying me. Oh, such a horrible time. Oh, I wish I had listened. People were telling me about it. Then I did Porgy and Bess. Otto being the director was a terrible experience for me. He shouted and screamed actions, directions to the actors, and treated them and me like dirt. Oh, I felt like throwing up every time I came to work. He even bullied me on set, vocally and physically. I remember one time leaving after rehearsing the rape scene. I had black bruises up and down my arms from him grabbing me and pulling me. But I made it through. I played Bess anyway, even getting a Golden Globe Award nomination for my portrayal. Then I continued to work in clubs. I did the Biltmore again, the Empire Room, and the Macombo that was owned by Charlie Morris. I kept doing clubs in Los Angeles and Las Vegas now. But you know, I would have liked to have done more than the 43 films that I had done, but there were no films for Black women like me who didn't want to play slave roles. Working at the hotels, I did work at the Riviera Hotel. The same hotel that emptied their pool for fearful that me, a Black woman, would swim in it. But I have to admit, I did call the front desk and let them know how hot I was and how a dip in the pool would be just lovely. Now that's where I met Maitre d', Jack Dennison. He was a handsome Greek man, and he charmed his way into my heart. After a while of his courting and dating, we were married in 1959. Now, I guess he did own up to his hidden intentions, which were to use me and my money. I was making great money before we married. I gave him money to open up a restaurant on Sunset Boulevard before we were even married. But once married, he proceeded to run me into the ground financially, emotionally, and physically. My home, yes, my home that I purchased on View Site was a war zone with 2 enemies in it. Oh, I was so glad I didn't put his name on that deed. I had to file a restraining order on Jack. He was extremely abusive, causing me grave bodily and emotional harm, even putting me in the hospital at one point. He was ordered to leave my house, and the divorce was final 1 year later in 1962. He, of course, continued to harass me via messages via Herb Jeffries to try and talk to me, but I would never talk to him, and I never talked to him again. This stopped, of course, when he found out I was broke. Yes, I had to file for bankruptcy in 1962. I moved from my house on View Site to a smaller home on Norman Place. Oh, thank goodness for my dear, precious friend Jerry. She was so invaluable to me throughout my whole life. Then, with no film work, I continued working in clubs. Also in 1962, my dear, dear friend, Mary Monroe, was found dead soon after her breakup with President John Kennedy. My friend was gone. She was just gone. They told her lies, and she fell apart. She fell hard. Oh, I missed her. In some ways, Marilyn and I were the same, you know. We both were sexually abused as children. And we both achieved great success in the industry, films, recordings. But she, of course, had more power and clout and more recognition due to the racism in this country. I was asked by director Michaud about Cleopatra, but you know who got that part. But before Elizabeth Taylor got that high-paying role, I was the first industry professional, black or white, to make $300,000 a year in 1955. Oh no, I didn't let my breakup with Otto stop me. I kept working. Then in 1962 also, during the bankruptcy filing, Helen Calhoun, who was taking care of Lynn, she sent her back to me. Jerry and I picked her up from the train station at 2 a.m. in the morning. Oh, thank you, Jerry. Oh, it was unbearable. I just couldn't handle Lynn. She pounded on the piano all day long. It nearly drove me crazy. And she had such great strength and power, determination. Finally, Jerry and her friends helped me to have Lynn sent to an institution. I remember in the courtroom I went out to get some water, and my legs, they just collapsed beneath me. They had to hold me up by my arms to get me standing again. I was so ashamed and hurt and devastated when they sent Lynn to the Camarillo institution. My only daughter. She didn't even know I existed. Oh. Then, in 1964, in April of 1964, I bounced back and some work came in. Earl got me working in Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Tokyo. Yes, I was working again. But every penny I made went to the IRS. My lawyers fought with the IRS and fought for my case and won. They finally convinced them that I was ill and broke. So they put me in the dead file. Then an oil drilling scam nearly left me penniless. I had more debts that I couldn't pay. Oh, I was hurting, I was lonely. But something inside of me just kept me going. I just held on, it kept me going. Desperate for money and work, I moved to a place on Fountain Avenue in West Hollywood. Marilyn had lived there before. We spent many sunny days sitting on the outside steps, talking about our lives and dreams and goals and all the children we were going to have. Maybe next year I can have a baby. Never know. Earl got me a job working at the Flamingo, where Nancy Wilson was starring in the main ballroom. And I was in the casino with a 7-piece band. Oh no orchestra for me. Such a great place for the first black actress to be nominated for an award in a leading role, right? I was so embarrassed. I drank to make myself numb to get through the shows, and I muffled words, but I made it through. And then returned to Los Angeles. Then I did Showboat. I played the part of Julie. I made it through to the end of production with pretty good reviews. But then with no work, I became very depressed. Earl was a bit worried about me, so sometimes he would stay with me. He even had his own key, and he would stay there, especially if Ruby asked him to, because she began to worry. She would hear stories about me drinking, and I never was a drinker. Never in my entire life. The prescription prescribed Tofranil kept me bloated and increased my dependence on sleeping pills, so I was drinking alcohol and taking more and more pills. Oh, I looked terrible. Harold and Fayard came by to see me. I invited them over. Otto also came by. He just stared at me, wouldn't even touch me. Now, I know he would have given me money, but I didn't want nothing from him. I hoped that he could see me and feel guilty. Him and Hollywood! And Jack Dennison making me work in his club. They had headlines. Dorothy Dandridge resolved to be a saloon singer. Zanuck was begging me to take the part. They called, they waited, and you told me not to take it. Oh, your career accelerated, and I lost mine. I should never have listened to you. What a fool I was. What a fool I was to listen to your words. What a lame excuse of a mind I had. When you talked, my whole body went to mush. How did I get so lost in you? You made me forget who I am. Oh, what a fool I was to love you. Now I see just what a fool I am. Then things began to look better. Joe Glasser, who was determined to rebuild my career, got me a gig at the New York Club Street Basin East. That was to start on September 10th. That would be a long-running engagement. Earl Mills got me a gig in New Albuquerque, New Mexico at the Sheraton, at the Carnival room of the Sheraton Hotel. I continued to audition for speaking parts for commercials and films, and I remember bumping into Michelle. I remember holding her by the sides of her face, her cheeks, and kissing her, and telling her good luck. I always wished well on other people in the industry, all of my friends. I never wished ill on anyone, and I tried to help as much as I could. I helped Billie Holiday quite a lot. Her and I were close friends. When the cops were hot on her trail, Billie would stay at my apartment, and I'd feed her, spoon feed her, and give her money. And you know, Billie, she didn't even know what was going on. I'd give her dresses to wear and money. I always tried to help artists whenever I could, and always wished them well. Then, in a few days, things began to look even better. Through Earl, I got a contract to be in a film in Mexico for $50,000. Oh! Contracts were signed, I's dotted, T's crossed. Another new beginning for me. I continued to work out, taking dance classes and getting ready for my lineup of shows I was going to do. Well, going down the stairs, leaving the gym, I twisted my foot and I didn't think anything of it. But while in Mexico, meeting with the producers and directors for the film, the pain persisted. And I saw a doctor, and they x-rayed and found a small bone fracture in my right foot. And they advised me to get a cast on it as soon as I returned to the US. Once in the US, we confirmed this with the bone specialist, and I was set to get the cast put on it the next day. tomorrow. And guess what? After meeting with the producers and directors, they upped the ante to 2 films at $50,000 each. Oh, I better hurry up and get ready. Oh, because Earl is picking me up early tomorrow morning. I've got a big day tomorrow. No, I don't like that one. Yes, he's picking me up early tomorrow morning. I've got to get ready. Oh. Oh, ready for my new beginning. This one stays. Oh, this one. No. Oh, and some gloves. Yes, take some gloves and organize this music. Oh, now I think I better get to bed now. Oh, he'll be coming here early. Get ready for my new life, another new beginning for me. Let's put this in my suitcase. And I think that's it. I'm going to drink a bit of water. Oh, now I think I'll hit the sack. Some gloves. Oh. Oh, girl. I heard him. He was knocking on my door, but he shouldn't have trouble getting in. He had a key. And I didn't put that chain lock on my door. I never used that on Fountain Avenue. Then I heard Earl come back. He busted the door open with the tire iron, and he was running through my apartment calling me, Dottie, where are you? Where are you? Dottie. Then he stopped and kept saying, my angel face, over and over. But I didn't wake up. Sing!